Welcome, everyone. It is a delight to be here today.
Donors down, dollars up was already a truism when I first entered this sector about a decade ago. And in the US, there's a fairly clear split that's been widening over that time in which the incidence rate of giving, the percentage of donors donating, has dropped, while the overall amounts given to philanthropy has grown.
That no matter who wins the elections in November, we're worried about the fate of the system we built for self-governance. We're worried about social cohesion. And when you have both the concentration of wealth, which is in itself troubling, a shrinking middle class, which is not only bad for people, bad for democracy, but you also might be facing, I mean, it just begs the question, I don't know the answer, we want to learn it with Paige's help, but begs the question of whether there is also a concentration of agency, a concentration of that sense of having a role, having a stake in our society, and having the capacity to make a difference.
I think that a tidal wave of micro-generosity actions is absolutely world-changing. But I do get asked, but the focus on this nice stuff, right? The focus on this stuff that is not about civil society directly, doesn't that detract from the importance of monetary giving to nonprofits? And the answer is absolutely not. Right? This is not our parents' generation where you bought the same shampoo for an entire lifetime. You bought the same model of car for an entire lifetime. That doesn't happen now with brands, and it doesn't happen with causes either. It's about who can create the moment of inspiration that sparks behavior. Right, so thought experiment. What would happen if none of us in this room could use the word donor for a year? What words might we come up with instead? Champion, leader, ambassador. Those words are all better than donor, right? Which literally speaks to the ability of someone to give money or items. That's all it speaks to. People want to be spoken to as their whole selves.
You know, one of the things that I think we've done not so great in the space is made so much of our fundraising on the transactional end of the spectrum, where there's so much more research around what we're talking about today, the communal side of the spectrum. In transactional, if all you need to do is get the donation today, then having this high pressure give today, it's a one-to-one decision, you can help someone, you will get an increased gift. But then they get that warm glow and go on their business, and they're not tied to anything larger, right? It was this very individual thing. Something that's more communal for us to say, there's 703 million people on the planet who do not have access to life's most basic need. We really believe that there will be a day in our lifetime where that will be zero, but we can't do it alone. And so whether you give $5 a month or $50 or $50,000, everyone is a part of this movement, this mission to end the water crisis in our lifetime.
What our community is that we are not donors, we're doers. It's the people that are not waiting for a millionaire or a billionaire to come and save that particular community. It's people that are taking action.
You know, I think we're living in this time where we've got the knowledge, we have awareness, and it's really up to us in this generation today to actually make the change. Because if we draw a straight line in the US, the decline in charitable participation ends in 49 years. It's like the simplest math you could do. None of us want to envision a world that's less generous than it is today, so let's stop it.
I would say that it's rooted in the fundamental, regardless of cause, we have to focus on three fundamental things. We have to continue to leverage curiosity to educate and inform. We have to focus on how do we compel people to care. And then ultimately, how do we inspire them to take action?
Thank you.